For years I've been telling you guys how useful vans are. I'm going to use the van as a scaffolding. I've got the rack up there on the top. I've got all my tools. And we're ready to install our new custom-made bracket. So let's get started. All right, so we're up here in the tree and kind of picked a spot here that's reasonably flat. We might have to shim this up a little bit. We've got some inconsistencies in the bark, but that's okay. We're kind of learning as we're going here, so I make things up as I go. So we may have to do a little bit of modifying to the bracket, but I don't think much. I think it'll be pretty simple. So we want to get through the bark, get a couple washers in here. The bark doesn't have any strength. I'm not sure how thick it is, so we want to make sure we're dealing with the wood. So we'll get in there and then we'll bring out some spacers. So I'll start with my little hole, what do they call this, a hole saw? It's, well, I got the wrong one. I'm going to get one that's about the same size as this washer. I'll get the next size down so that these just fit in there nice and tight. Here we go. There's a better size right there. So we're about, right here, about 10.5 feet or so. And sometimes you just need to just start doing it. Chip this out of here and kind of see what we got. So we're down to the hardwood there, and this should just fit nice and tight there. Let's put 2 of them in there. So we'll switch to our 1/2 inch bit. When I'm putting in 3/4 inch legs bolts, like these great big ones, you got to drill a pilot hole. They're just too hard to turn in, and usually a 1/2 inch. I'll go a 1/2 inch drill pilot hole for a 3/4 inch bit. So I got this big one. Now it's going to be really, really critical that we get this in level. That we're drilling perfectly horizontal. So we'll use a torpedo level. Good torpedo levels have a groove in the top. You'll see there, like that. It's got a groove in it, and then there's a magnet on the other side. Magnet's nice for if you have to stick to something metal. Groove is really nice when you're dealing with things that are round, like drill bits, because it automatically finds center. So that's kind of why. Whoops! You want to look for that when you're buying your torpedo level. One of the essential tools for carpentry. Okay, let's drill our hole. Okay, so we'll use our torpedo level here, and don't get in a hurry here. Just take our time, make sure that we're in line. And usually, if we start out level, once we start drilling, it'll pull itself in pretty good. Get greedy here. Just stop and keep checking. No rush. Okay, so I've got both holes drilled and my washer set in here, so I can see a couple of design flaws here. One is that I made this 4 inches to compensate for that 4-inch timber, which would have been fine, but the tree is growing out like this. It didn't dawn on me. So what I'm going to have to do, most likely going to have to do, is recut those down to 3 inches because I don't want to notch into this bark unless I have to. So I've spaced it out here a little bit as much as I dare, and then of course that's opened up the bottom because the tree is running at an angle, but I kind of just figured it out as we're going here. So I've got a 1.1/8" socket on this and a great big really nice fine tooth 1-inch drive ratchet that I got at a garage sale with all the sockets. What do you suppose it costs to go buy that brand new? S&K. So let's run this in here and then check for level and then kind of reassess. But I think what I'll do is once I get this run in here tight, then we'll measure this distance here and then we'll cut another piece of tubing, and that should be fine. Okay, no small job getting that lag screw in there. Man, that was tight. So with this level here now, you can see, and I brought this out. The reason why I brought this out so far was I wanted to bring this out as far as I could so I can get my timber in here so it won't run into the won't run into the tree as it angles up. So that left a pretty big gap here of 1 5/16". So I've cut a spacer there with a double pipe, 1 5/16". I've got one washer in there, and now that should just fit in there perfectly. This is galvanized here, so I'm not going to worry about painting that. And now with this pre-drilled, I can put this in. This one's even going to go in further. So it's too tight. I can't use the ratchet anymore. It's just too tight. I got a 2-foot breaker bar with another 2-foot piece of pipe on it. And even that is taking quite a bit of effort. I think I'm going to need rehab after tightening those bolts in there. My goodness. This is absolutely bomb-proof. I mean, it is so stiff and so rigid and so tight. I didn't suck it into the tree. There's no need to. Actually, you can still move the washers a little bit. There's no point of it there. But I think this would have been enough right here. That's what most people use. So having the addition of this extra one right here just to support that weight out there is to me is just a little extra insurance. If you know, you could even go a step further. If there was ever an issue, you could fabricate a washer here with a ring on it and run a chain or a cable up with the turnbuckle. You know, and we'll watch it. So I just checked it. It's dead level. That's just great right there. I'm really happy with that. The only thing, if I was to do this again, I would have made it 6 inches or 5 to compensate for that. Even that, I'm gonna have to take that 4x4 and I have to cut it down with the chainsaw mill to 3 inches, which is more than enough for the short span of what, 7 feet, 6.5 feet. And I may even have to just take a little bit of bark there on the top there, but no, live and learn, I guess. So it'll be just fine, no problem. Actually, I was kind of worried that 4x8 was going to look a little bit heavy. It can look a little bit heavy. The 3-inch is going to be more in proportion, I think, to the overall thing. So let's get we'll get a 2x4 up here and get everything set up, and then drill. We'll put in our other side, and then we'll be ready to mount our first structural member, our first timber.